All right, welcome back. Let's get the class started. Attention position, back straight, point your fingers with your thumbs. Have a good bow, and let's get started. Shake those arms out a little bit. Just kind of move them around. You can throw them in some circles, kind of do what you want to do there. Just kind of back and forth. You want to get those shoulders a little bit loose. We're going to do some shuffle steps, so just kind of shuffle right and left a little bit. So move in, getting that body away, getting it aware. Just moving around. All right, let's start to do a little bit of thinking. So jumping jacks, feet in and out, right? As you're going in and out, try to keep your feet together instead and go left and right. Hit those same spots, but your feet are together. So you're hopping left and right. Gonna get that heart rate up just a little bit before we stretch today. Forward and back. So you can see my feet are going forward and back. Okay, crisscross. Forward and back, crisscross. And regular jumping jacks again. Start to jog a little bit. So you're just jogging, working getting those knees up. Then work on stepping real low. Let's speed it up a little bit. Chops. Regular jogging again. Start to stop. Go into a walk and get the knees up really high. Just really working on getting those legs up. 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 Keep them going. Keep them going. Nice. Give me 1 second. I'm going to fix the camera much better. So now, what we're going to do here, pay attention, we're going to go down, we're going to stretch. I want you to have a seat. You're going to put 1 foot out, 1 foot in. Have your back straight and start to arch your back, chin up, rotate towards your toes. So see if you can get your body forward, keeping that chin up, keeping that back straight, rotating towards that foot. Now we do our other foot. So other foot in, other foot out. What we were working on this month in classes we've been talking about is expectations. What are your expectations over 12 months of training? What's going to happen? So we started the month trying to figure out what is our expectation? What do we believe is going to happen at the end of it? We talked about, for the people who weren't here, we talked about, what kind of goals are you going to set? What kind of actions do you have to take to ensure your expectation comes true? Okay, straddle position. Both legs locked, toes up, back straight. Arch your back and lean forward. So the next week we talked about what kind of obstacles could you run into? What kind of things could potentially make it harder for your expectations to come true? And then setting up plans or ways that we can get around the obstacles or make sure that they don't hinder us from achieving our expectations. Start to go left and right. Now this week, we're kind of finishing up our expectation talks. We're talking about if you accomplish your expectation, right, if it comes true, what is it going to do for you? How are you going to utilize it? Like if it's to get in the splits, are you actually going to learn some cool flashy kicks after that? Right? Are you going to use it in another sport? Keep going left, right? If you learn some new curriculum and get a new belt, what are you going to do? Are you going to get a new belt and then not utilize it? You're going to quit? Or are you going to take some time to really enjoy that new level and learn all the new curriculum there too? So that's kind of an idea I want you to start to think about. When this expectation comes true, how does it benefit you? What do you do? How do you use it? Okay, go a little bit lower. Trying to just lift those arms up, let that body weight pull you into the stretch. Okay, butterfly stretch, leaning back. Grab your legs, pull up, touch your feet together. And we're trying to push our knees down. You're gonna feel the inside of your hips stretching on these ones. So we're pushing those legs down, getting those hip flexors loosened up a little bit. Try to keep that back arch, rotate those hips into those legs. All right, so you're gonna put a foot out and you're gonna cross a foot over the top. Now what's gonna happen is my right foot's over, so my left hand comes around and grabs my knee and I just hug it here and I sit up real tall. I try to arch my back and lift my chin as high as I can, pushing my chest forward to get my hip to stretch. Now I'm gonna pull it across my body, so I'm gonna be trying to take my arm, cross it over, and push so I can twist. I'm gonna push around and see if I can look behind me. And I go the other way. So my leg is out, my leg bends, steps over my leg, and since it's my left, I take my right, my opposite hand, and I hug around my knee, and I grab onto my arm, I pull it in real tight, and I lift my chin to the ceiling, pushing my chest forward, trying to feel the outside of my hip stretch. Keeping that body straight, sit up real tall. You'll see that some days when we teach this class, we modify which stretch we use to get after muscles. It's just kind of nice to give you multiple ways to stretch. Sometimes one's a little bit easier for someone, or might be a little bit harder. It kind of gives you more options. Okay, now, keep my leg down, put my hand behind. My opposite hand comes over and push on my leg. So I want to push and I want to twist. So if it's my left leg, my right hand has to push on it. I want the opposite one pushing. Looking as far behind me as I can. Get a good twist that way. Now we'll go on our back. We'll do that stretch one more time. Let's do it on our back. So we grab our knee, we pull it across our body, we reach out. You can see this is the same stretch we just did. Right? Sometimes a little bit physically easier for people twisting. Then we come back and we go the opposite way. So we grab onto that knee, we pull it across all the way to the floor, and we look the opposite direction. Trying to stretch that back out. Pull that knee across that body. As usual, let's stretch out our back and our neck. So to be on my back, I'm going to roll back and try and touch my toes behind my head. So I swing my toes over and I touch behind my head. Then legs down and go in front. We're going to do one more stretch today. We're going to roll over on our belly. Put our hands on the side of our body, and we're doing upper body push-ups. So we arch up, try to look up towards the ceiling, arching our back. Kind of make yourself into a nice little bike ramp shape, quarter pipe. Unless you're super flexible and you come in and touch your toes, then you're like a half pipe. All right, push yourself back. Oh, let's get hopping up. All right, so what we're going to work on today is we're going to work on some basic grabs. Now, if you don't have someone at home, that's fine. I'll explain what the grab is doing. I'll even demonstrate on the Weighmaster, kind of showing you an idea. But we're going to kind of walk through the steps. So that way, when you get a partner again, we're hopefully going to memorize the steps. And we're also going to work on some blocking systems. So I'm going to grab my trusty Weighmaster here, demonstrate what the first skill is, and then we'll start memorizing the steps. This is a great review for the people who've already done these things 1,000 times because sometimes we forget little steps. So the first thing we're defending against is someone walking up and just choking you, right? They're reaching their hands out and they're grabbing onto your throat, okay? So someone's grabbing onto your throat. They're reaching up and they're trying to choke you on the neck. The first thing we're gonna do is make hooks. So step one, hooks. And we put them on their arms. So we put it right on the person's arms. So let's do this. So we make hooks, right? We're trying to pull down using our body weight and our arm strength, trying to pull the arms down to relieve pressure so we can breathe or to take the pressure off subjects so the blood can flow. So number one, hook. So everyone should do this with me. Ready? Make your hook. So I'm going to turn this way so you can kind of see how I step two. So I take my hands, I make hooks. So it's not a thumb hook, no thumb. So I put the thumb on the side of my hand. I make my hooks and I pull my elbows to my body. So that's step one, okay? Step two is I'm going to drop my body weight. So I'm going to step back and try to drop my body weight down. And I'm going to try to put my weight right between my feet. This way I can't be pushed, I can't be pulled. Where if I'm like this, I can't be pushed very well, but I can be pulled forward, right? Or if I'm sitting like this, fear is to be pushed over. So I want to make sure that I have a strong stance. So we make our hooks, we step back, and we squat down. So I have my arms, I'm hanging on their arms. Essentially now I'm forcing the person to try to lift and hold me up, which is going to change the way that they have to use their arms, right? So I'm going to make my hooks, and then I get in my strong stance. Developing a strong stance is very important. One of the first things we want to do when someone's about to grab onto us or do something, because our strong stance allows us not to be push-pulled. If we want to strike, we can strike. So imagine that this person's here, reaching out, grab my throat. I'm going to make my hooks, and I'm going to try to get down. Now, if they're holding on to me, same kind of concept. If they're holding, I might not be able to step back into my stance because they're holding me. So I might kind of do more of a split step, meaning one foot goes forward and one foot goes back, right? So sometimes you're not going to be able to just step back and draw the person off balance if they're much bigger than you. But what we want to do is one forward, one back. And this way, I'm not trying to adjust where I am. I'm not dragging the person off balance. And that would be better, right? But if I can't, if they're real strong and they're holding on, I'll do a split step and then I'll drop my weight, right? I'm going to drop my weight to the floor. Because this way, again, I break the balance of their grip. So hooks and stance. So every once in a while, practice a step back in your stance And sometimes your split step, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, and it's a directly straight down drop. Okay, so ready? You're standing tall. Imagine someone's grabbing your throat. Step 1, hooks. Elbows into your body strong. Step 2, stance, whichever step you want to do. Okay? Step 3 is we're going to try to use our body turning to break the grips of the arms. So the person is grabbing like this, right? They're not very strong left and right. They're very strong pushing or possibly pulling. When your arm extends out, if someone were to push it sideways, it'd be very hard for you to stop that action. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our hooks, right? I'm gonna give you my stance. I'm gonna take my front arm, I'm gonna lift my elbow up, and I'm gonna rotate it over the top of their arm. So I'm gonna try and rotate my arm over. And we kind of talk about making maybe a rainbow shape, okay? Now, if I'm similar strength and size, I'm going to just lift my elbow up to bring those arms off. If I'm much smaller, I might extend my hand out so I can swing and get more momentum. Like if you have a short bat, you can only hit a ball so far. If you have a big bat, you can hit the ball farther, right? So let's demonstrate both skills. I'll do it forward. Step 1, hooks. Step 2, stance. Step 3 is lift elbow up and rotate over, okay? Or I can do this variation. If I think I'm gonna be smaller than the person, I swing my hand over like a rainbow this way. And then try and bring it in, okay? So ready, I'm gonna face this way again. Follow along with me, let's get the next step in. So step 1, hooks. Step 2, stance, drop the weight. Step 3 can either be your elbow, or if you think you're smaller, swing the hand. Ready? Step 3, swing the hand. Okay? Now, a lot of times if they're just grabbing onto your throat, this would be enough to break that grip. Again, they might not always let go. That's part of the scenario, right? We're not at this point trying to hurt the person. We're trying to just break the grip of what's happening. So ready? Step 1, step 2, step 3. Now, if we decide we're in a bad position, step 4 will be determined by the distance. If the person's close to me and I try to chop them, it won't work. If they're farther and I try to chop them, it can work, okay? If they're close, it's gonna be an elbow strike. If I feel like I'm in danger, I'm going to take this top arm and I'm going to elbow them in the nose, right? If I have more space, I'm gonna take my hand and I'm gonna chop at their nose. Now let's look at this for a second. If you have a bad guy grabbing you and you're in a dangerous situation and you karate chop them right in the nose, just taking this part of your hand here and you chop them right in the nose, right? How much muscle is there on a nose? So a really big, strong guy has no muscle over their nose, right? And no big, strong bone to protect it. So if you smash them in the nose, it's gonna hurt them just like it would hurt a smaller person. But as a bonus, if you're defending yourself against a dangerous situation and you go to chop at their nose and you miss, but your fingers scratch their eyes, they make it very hard for the bad guy to grab on, right? That would hurt even more than the nose a lot of times. So we're gonna just open our hand up and just chop at the nose. And if we happen to catch the eyes on a bad guy, that's gonna be okay because it's gonna be effective, right? Or if they're close, like I said, we're gonna take our elbow and drive our elbow straight into their nose. And if I catch an eye or a mouth or a cheekbone, those are all gonna be okay targets, or a chin. Okay, so let's review our steps. Let's add the strike. So not only are we trying to break the grip, but now we're trying to think of, in a dangerous situation, how to get away. So I have the person grab. Ready? Follow me. Let's do the steps. Okay, so ready? What's step 1? I'm going to purposely go a little bit slower because I want to see if you can do the steps before I do the steps. So I'll call it out. I'll wait a second, then I'll do the steps. Make sure you see what's going on. Ready? Step 1, correct, grab. See if you can beat me to it. Step 2, develop a strong stance. Step 3, over the top, right? And then step 4 would be your front hand strike, whether it be a chop or an elbow. Okay? Give me stance. Let's start again. Let's do a nice traditional stance each time. That means my feet are straight. I have my back is straight. I'm showing that I'm in a focused, ready position. So that's what Chimby is. All right, so ready? Person grabs. Step 1, correct grips. Step 2, strong stance. Step 3, over the top. Step 4, strike. Now, what would step 5 be? Step 5 would be run. Get away. Now, so we're not just running around our house, or we're not running around the school we practice. We're just going to take a couple steps back, and we're going to put our hands up in a defensive position. Now, if I got really far away, I could be in a karate stance. In that situation, I'd rather you ran. So we're going to think middle range Muay Thai stance. Okay? So we're going to go do our defense, throw our strike, create some space, hands up, ready to go. And let's think about our Muay Thai stance for a second. What does this mean? If you see me right now, if I'm walking towards you and I'm doing this, does this mean I want to fight you? Or does this mean stop? Right? And if you don't speak the same language I speak and I put my hands out like this means stop. Leave me alone. So if someone comes around the corner and they see you with your hands like this and they see another person looking aggressive, what can they assume? They can assume you're defending yourself and the other person is being the aggressor. They're more likely to come help you against the other person, right? Or when they report what happened, they can say, I saw this person say no and trying to defend. So this is a very important stance with your hand. This will also de-escalate a situation. If I step back and I do this right away, what does that mean to you? If I put my hands up and I make loud noises and then my hands are in fists, this tells you that I want to fight you or I want to hurt you, right? This is not the stance you want to jump into if we're trying to de-escalate or remove danger from our situation. My hands here are the exact same as my hands here, right? If I'm going to hit you, I can still hit you with my hands open, or I can very simply just close my fist and still strike. But the difference is this will kind of help either get the person to calm down or at least allow other people to see, and we can block just fine, right? And I actually prefer in this situation to actually have my hands open when I'm blocking, which we'll go over in a second. So let's go through our defense again, all the way through the steps, all the way to step 5, which is escape. We call it escape. Okay, so ready? Hop up with me. Let's do the steps. If you can go fast with me, then feel free to do so. I'm going to go a little bit slower for the people who are newer. Ready? Step 1, hooks. Step 2, stance. Step 3, over the top. Step 4, strike to get free. Step 5, back up, create space. Once we know that the situation is under control, we can relax. Come back up. We're going to start a chubby stance. This shows me that you're focused and you're ready. Step 1, grips. 2, stance. 3, over the top. Step 4, strike. Step 5, create space, escape. Okay, let's do it one more time. And if you haven't been, feel free to switch sides. I'll do the opposite. I try to do the same side, so if you're following me, it's a little bit easier to understand if you're new. But make sure you're always switching sides. Ready? One more time. Chubby stance. Show me you're focused and ready to go. Ready? Step 1. Boom. Step 2, stance. Step 3, over. Step 4, strike. Step 5, escape. We always want to create a little bit of space, right? Let's say we do smack the bully right in the nose. What is the bully's response going to be? Hopefully grab their nose and run away, right? But it might be to strike back. If you hit someone, there's a good chance they're going to strike back. So if you hit someone and they want to hit you back, create space. If I create enough space, you can't reach me. Now you have to come forward. I have a choice. When you come forward, I can strike again. I can move and create more space again, right? Or another angle, so I can move. I can choose just to block. I could choose to stand there and get punched, but that's not really going to be one we're going to play with today, okay? So now let's look at the next situation. Let's say someone comes forward and they're trying to punch you in the face. You've just chopped and got free or elbowed them. You've created space, and now they want to hit you some more because you've defended yourself and they don't like it, okay? So in this situation, we're in our Muay Thai stance. Let's say everyone hop up on your feet. Show me your Muay Thai stance. So the hands are up. Now, if the punch comes around the outside, I don't want you to take your hand and chop it out here, because when you chop your hand way out, it leaves another big opening right here in the center. So all we're going to do is we're going to take our hand, move it a little bit, and we're going to move our head. So I want you to imagine a punch coming around the outside, okay? So it's coming around the outside. Take your hand, move it just a little bit, and hide, right? So imagine if I have a person who's standing right here in front of me, right? They're right there, and they want to throw something at me, and I have this here. All I have to do is stand on the opposite side of the person from the pad. Now this is in the way, it's blocking, right? It's not hitting them, it's not touching them, but it's blocking because it's intercepting, it's in the way of the path that they want to use. So if I'm blocking right now, I don't need to block way out like this and chase whatever's coming. I just put my hand up and I hide behind it. Now it takes very little movement, and if they happen to run into my arm, they run into my arm, right? Okay, so ready, hands up, Muay Thai stance, and they're throwing a punch that's coming from over here. So ready, block that way. Now, if the punch came from this side, We move this hand out just a little bit. We're trying to maintain this 90-degree angle at this distance, right? 90 degrees like the corner of a book. We block, hide behind our hand, right? So ready? Block, then block. Show me those good blocks. Now, if I lean and I bend my body up, I'm off balance. I can't strike from here. So I'm trying to keep myself like this. See how my body's straight up and down? I'm not bending and leaning really far. I'm trying to make very small movements. This way, if I block here, it's not a lot of work to block on the other side, okay? So our hands are up. Ready? Block. Block. And see how my body's straight up and down, and I'm between my feet. I don't want my feet crossed where I'm on like a balance beam and falling. And I don't want to be like this where I'm on the outside of my feet and falling. So I have my stance where my body can be right between my feet. So we create our space. 1, 2, right? And we're blocking just like that. Now, this would be if the person was this far away trying to hit, right? I keep creating space. I would be moving. I wouldn't be standing here and letting them get closer and closer to me, because at this range, it's a different system. That's not the one we're working on. We're working on trying to acknowledge that we have to create space between us and attackers, okay? Let's review from the beginning. We're going to do the first 5 steps, and then we're going to add 2 or 3 blocks, okay? I'm going to face this way so you can see a little bit different angle. So ready, you're standing still. Let's go into shimmy stance. We're respectful, holding still, ready to pay attention. So they ready, they grab. Step 1, hooks. Step 2, stance. Step 3, over the top. Step 4, strike. Step 5, create space. Step 6 is block. We're blocking our head, right? Little tiny head movements. Pretty simple. Okay, I'm gonna do it this way. Do it with me again. So ready? Start a shimmy stance. Show me that you're ready. Ready? They front choke. Go. 1, get down low. 2, over. 3, strike. 4, create the space. 5, blocking. Step 6, right? You're kind of blocking and you're always moving. You're always trying to move your body a little bit. Imagine if you're throwing snowballs at me, right? And I stand in one spot. How easy could you throw a snowball and hit me if I was just holding still, right? What happens when I move a little bit? What do you have to do? You have to re-aim, right? Does that make sense? You have to decide to throw it farther or less if I'm moving. But if I just hold still and you keep throwing them, I'm going to miss one. So when someone's throwing punches, we want to constantly move, right? Because if a person's going to punch, they're going to put themselves in the perfect position to have the most power when they strike. Well, all of a sudden, if it's this change, right, that's a big change, right? Does that make sense? Here, power, okay? Watch this, little distance step, no power. So if we're constantly making that changing and we're making it very hard for the person to aim at us. So if you ever try to do something where you have to try to throw something, shoot something, or hit something, if it moves, it's very, very hard, okay? So let's go through our steps again. Let's do all 6, and I'm going to add on. Right, we're going to do it a little bit different. So ready? Shimmy stance, standing nice and tall. Ready? 1, get the arms. 2, stance. 3, over the top. 4, bang, right to the face. Backing up on 5. Ready? 6 is blocks. Block a little bit. Now, after we block, again, we have a choice. If they throw a punch and we block, we could now choose. Run and move still, right? We could choose to try to block more. Or eventually we can choose, if it's a bad enough situation, to hit again. We're going to take our backhand, open it up, and we're going to throw a palm heel strike. So we're taking this part of our hand and we're smashing it into their face, right? We're going to crush it right into their face, hoping that this person will now leave us alone or give us an opportunity, enough time to run away. Remember, we put our hand on our belly. I'm going to turn sideways for a second. I get my good stance, have my hand up like this. I'm going to take my hand, I'm going to push it straight out. And when I push it straight out, I want to make my hips twist. Remember, if I'm wearing a belt, my belt's flying side to side. So I'm trying to turn my hips and twist my foot, bang, right up in the face, okay? Now, if I'm palm heeling like this and this hand goes down, what's happening over here? What's blocking? Nothing. So I got to keep that hand up, because just because I'm throwing a strike doesn't mean they can't take a turn at the same time, right? Okay? So let's just start in our position at step 5. We've already got away. Ready? Step 6, block a little bit. Now, bring your hand into the center of your body. Ready? Step 7, fire a shot. Boom! We got a big pivot on the foot. I'm still blocking. The hand's going up towards face. Pull back. Let's do step 7 a couple times. Ready? Palm heel strike. Big shot. Pulling back. Ready? Palm heel strike. Big shot. Bang. All the way back. Ready? Palm heel strike. Bang. Out nice and straight. Right to the face. Ready? Bang. Right to the nose. And back. Ready? Go. Bang. One more time. Ready? Go. Bang. And back. So now let's try the other side. We got to be good at both sides. So I'm going to hand up. I'm going to turn this way a little bit. My hand's right on my belly, right in the center of my body. And it's like it's waving goodbye to the bad guy. And I'm blocking my face. I strike straight out and I rotate my foot. Remember, just pivoting my foot. If you watch my belt, just pivoting my foot doesn't make my belt move. It's not my foot. I twist my hips. And if you try to twist your hips without turning your foot, you can't. So when I twist my hips, my foot turns. So the foot turning is a result of my hips twisting. I don't pivot my foot and then turn my hips. So I want to twist. If I watch my belt fly around, I'm doing it right. So tell me if I palm heel the right way. Watch my belt. Watch my belt. Tell me if I palm heel the right way. Right, I'm blocking. I'm palm heel and I'm pivoted, but did my belt move? No, right? So that's wrong, okay? Watch my belt this time. Right, yeah. So you see the difference. I can make it look like it's right, but I'm not doing it. I'm missing something. Right? My belt this time. Oh, so I want you to twist. Use your hips to turn and give yourself the power, okay? So step number 7, we're using our second hand. Ready, hand up and twist, right? Make the belt move. Twist. If your belt's moving, you're hitting. So hop up, let's do 5 more. Ready, do it with me. So hands are up. Ready, 1. And back. Move your belt. 2. Ready, 3. 4. One more time. 5. And back. Okay, so now we put all 7 steps together. Let's do it again. So right from the beginning, Chibi stance. Show me you can do the skill with me. So back straight. Let's go everyone up on your feet. Ready? 1. Get the arms. 2. Get the stance. 3. Over the top. 4. Hit to the face. 5. Back up. 6. Block any shot to come. 7. Chamber the hand back nice and tight. Pow. Now what do you do after 7? After we hit the person, now we have to make a choice. We have to figure this stuff out. We have to do this very quickly. Is the person backing up or are they continuing to attack? If they continue to attack, you have an option. You can do what? Try to run away. Try to move, create space. Try blocking what they're doing or try striking again, right? At this point, if we haven't got the person to back up, I'm going to assume they're very close to us. We've hit them, but now they're very close. So what kind of strike can we throw if they're very close, right? How strong are your arms from this distance? Your elbow could work pretty good, right? Right? Yeah. But how about we throw our legs? How about we use a leg strike? So what kind of strike can we throw with our legs from this close to a target, like a spin hook kick, right? Probably not most of us, so we probably won't be using that one. So what should we use? Maybe a knee strike, okay? And on a knee strike, remember, we want a big wind up. I get my leg way behind, I grab onto whatever I'm kneeing, I pull myself in. Because if I'm smaller than this person and I pull, I'm not gonna move them towards me, I'm gonna pull myself to them, right? This Wave Master is big and heavy. If I grab and I pull, it might not move to me, but I'll move to it, right? Or if I am bigger and stronger than the person, I can probably pull them to me. So you're gonna have to figure out which one it is. You can demonstrate both, okay? So I get my good stance, I grab, I pull, I arch, I wanna lean backwards like my body push up and then throw my knee, okay? By leaning back, it forces my hips forward, and again, like we learned on the palm heel, when my hips move, I get more power, okay? So our hands are up. Let's go back to step number 6, right? We're blocking at step number 6. Step number 7, palm heel strike. Step number 8, grab and knee. Hands are up, and then we would get away again, if possible, okay? So ready? Let's start back at step 6. So everyone up on their feet, everyone practicing with me. So we got our hands up. We're blocking step 6. Step 7, palm heel strike. I want to see that belt move on step 7. Grab. Step 8, knee strike. Step 9, escape. And hopefully 10 is by now run away. Okay? Let's go through all the steps to see if we have them all memorized so far. So we're in our Chibi stance. Back straight. They choke. Ready? 1. Grab. 2. Stance. 3. Over the top. 4. Strike. 5. Back up. 6. Blocking. 7. Strike. 8. Grab. Knee strike. 9. Escape. All right, so 9 steps. 9 steps. Do we have it all memorized? How fast can we do it? Okay, let's find out. So we're going to do Chibi stance. I'm going to keep changing direction. Chibi stance. Ready? Big front choke. Go! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take off running, right? I'm going to keep changing angles. Keep doing it with me. Let's get repetition so we have this memorized. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is run away. Okay, ready? We'll just keep going. Ready? Go. They grab you. 1, 2. Get down nice slow. 3, 4, 5. Blocking at 6. 7 with a smash. 8 with a knee. 9 we get away. 10 we run. One more time. Let's do it one more time. So ready? We're in a strong chubby stance. I'm not even going to call it out. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it kind of slow if you still aren't memorizing it. If you have it, do it mechanically correct, but beat me done. Okay? So I'm not going to go that fast. Ready? Chubby stance. Go! All right, let's do it again. So now, I want to see who's faster than me. Don't wait for me. Don't do it with me. Go faster than I can go. If you can get done, it's like your race. You're going to try and beat me. I'm going to go slow one more time. You're going fast. See if you can get done before me. So ready, chubby stance? When I say go, you start the drill. Go! And we escaped, right? And ran away. Very good. So pretty simple skills we're doing today. We're working on a front choke. If you have someone who you can do this with, a friend, sitter, mom, dad, brother, sister, kids, whoever you have, if you can do this and have them practice grabbing onto your throat, don't have them squeeze the life out of you yet, because if you do this 50 times, even if it works, it's still going to start to hurt your neck, right? If you do it live too many times, meaning they're using full power, it's just going to start to really bother your neck. So try to use someone who you trust to have control. Now, as you do these skills, make sure that when you bring your arm across, you don't actually hit them with your strikes, because they're not going to be wanting to do this. Now let's think about the areas we could be striking. We've talked about this. If you strike them in the nose, that hurts, right? If you just take your finger and tap on your nose, it doesn't take a lot of power to figure out that hurts, and your finger kind of moves. It's wobbly, and it still doesn't feel good, right? Imagine like a hand chopping at full power, like a small baseball bat, or an elbow, which is solid bone. That hurts. Like if you tap your finger on your hand, right, and it actually doesn't hurt that bad, but if you tap it on your nose, it does. Now if you tap your elbow on your hand, it actually hurts, right? So if this doesn't hurt, but does hurt, and this hurts here, imagine how it would feel on your face, right? If you take your hand and you chop your hand, right, and that actually hurts, right? You can tell this is gonna hurt that nose. It's gonna hurt. Now the eyes, if you scratch someone's eyes, now not a brother or sister, but like a bad guy, like you scratch your eyes again, that's bad. Or this little area here, if you're in danger, not someone making you mad, but you're in danger and you were to strike there, this can make the person cough a lot, or you can hurt, make it hard for them to breathe, or it can even do worse damage if you're really big and strong. So we have all those areas we could be trying to strike and trying to get the person to back up, right? Remember, if we do back up and we create space, our next instinct should always be, if we have the opportunity, to get out of the situation, because even if you practice, become good at this, there's a chance that the other person who's attacking you for some reason knows martial arts, and they don't have a lot of discipline, so they're just a bully, right? We don't like those kind of people, but it's a situation, maybe they're a good fighter, and the longer you fight with them, the better chance they have of hurting you, right? Or maybe they're much bigger and they're gonna pick you up, or their friend's gonna come along and help. So if I do this first motion, I step back, I pull, and the hands come free, I don't have to start working on hitting. I might just now create the space, start looking for my escape, and then take off. I don't need to follow all the steps. The steps are there in case the first one doesn't stop it, and the second one doesn't stop it, and the third one doesn't stop it, right? So we want to know, if this doesn't work, what is our next goal? And that's what we're trying to accomplish. Now remember, when we're striking, the only time we should be hitting people is when we're in danger. So the biggest thing you need to figure out is, when are you actually in danger, and when are you just mad? Because if I'm just mad at someone and I hit them, that's going to get me in a lot of trouble. Where if I'm in danger and I hit them, then that's self-defense. If I believe that they're going to do bad things to me and I'm striking to stop that from happening, that's a different scenario than me hitting someone because I'm mad at them. Hopefully that kind of helps out. My suggestion would be to do these 9 steps. If you can, get someone to do it with, explain what you were doing, and always go slow at first, and try not for either one of you to be trying to hurt each other, right? The more repetitions you do on this, the sooner it's going to become second nature, and if someone grabs you, just automatically start going through that process, right? And if you're doing other styles, we have other variations, like in our jiu-jitsu, we teach a little bit different variation. We're automatically going to a grappling from a front choke position, but it's a different story. We're working more stand-up today. So this is something I want you to practice, get repetition. I want you to do it very safe, right? Make sure you have proper distancing when you're practicing, so you don't, again, smack the person in the nose. And then hopefully this helps you, and I hope you never have to use this in a real life situation, but if you do, now you at least have a valuable tool. So this will be our front choke defense, and it's what we do against someone doing that, and or we also work the distancing striking, and it could maybe even skip the front choke and go into striking first. And another scenario you can practice with a partner is you could do the striking aspect first. They come forward hitting, and you're blocking, maybe you're throwing your strikes, use control, right? And then you end up getting grabbed. They get too close, they jam up your motions, and now they've grabbed you, and then you can do this 1 second. Okay, does that make sense? So I might go through the scenario where I'm blocking, I'm striking, and then I have the person continue to grab, so then I have to make my hooks, and I get free seconds. So you can kind of play where the person now starts to come forward, sometimes initially grabbing you, sometimes they come forward hitting first, right? Sometimes they grab you, then grab you again, and you can really start to play, and then you build up this recognition. You start to be able to figure out what's coming at me. So if you have a person say, hey, we're all having control, right? Either choke me or strike at me. Remember, when you're practicing, if you don't block, they shouldn't hit you for real because you're practicing. It's not a fight. It's a practice for a self-defense situation, right? And after you get enough experience, then you can go into some more live ammo, okay? So again, I want you to get repetition. Hopefully I gave you enough ideas how to really play this drill with someone, and you can practice all by yourself is a beautiful thing of this drill, or if you have someone, you can get better repetition. So let's always end class the way we started it. We're gonna stand up super tall. We're gonna touch our feet together. We're gonna point our fingers, curl our thumbs, put them on the side of our body. We use the word chario. It means pay attention, okay? So you're looking up, forward. You're not thinking of anything else right now. Then I say kyungye, and that means bow. And we always do that for a sign of respect. Bow to you, bow to me. Thanks for joining me today. Appreciate it. Hopefully I see you soon.